Hey, I think we start off with this segment looking at sort of common classroom misbehaviours that happen in class, and then our solutions that we have done before or work for us.
Nice.
Okay, so we'll look at low level and then we'll go into high level.
Sweet.
Okay, so the situation for low level: students bring nothing to class.
But I'll tell you what, depending on the school, obviously. I think the school that we're currently in, it is a lot easier just to have the materials ready.
Just ready to go.
Yeah.
It cuts down, I agree.
Yeah. And that way there's no what's, ifs or buts, it's all there.
Bare necessities: 100 pencils for the class, use for all classes, a notebook, and then a student folder.
I don't know what's happening with kids today, bro, but they must get hungry because rubbers just go like that.
Razors disappear, don't they?
Bro,
I thought I had one razor cut down into 3 smaller razors. Thought I'd crack the system. Even that doesn't work anymore.
No, don't. Kids are just hungry. I don't know.
And I look at the end, I'm like, I saw no kid throwing a razor. There's nothing on the ground. It just eventually disappeared. All right, what do you got?
Bro, individual students not sitting in the science.
You got to set that tone, early from the onset. So you get a new class, especially if you're a new teacher. This is where we're sitting. Okay, if they don't do it, just follow up, be consistent. They sit here. Don't raise your voice. Don't raise the situation, but just see it through. Now, if the student keeps bucking the system, then you need to get your higher up, your head of department, whoever's there, to then help it. I know if I'm a head of department, I will then work. So I'll, for the next week, be in that class for the first 5 minutes to make sure students are sitting in the right seat. And then if they're not, I'd follow through that way. Yourself?
Awesome. I'll do the same. Allocate them. You tell them where they sit. And the cool thing about that is naturally they want to sit with their friends. That's just a natural thing. You sit where you feel most comfortable. But when you allocate a seat, and I'll simply say to the kids, look, if you earn the right to move, then we'll move, but then you've got to earn the right to stay there. If not, then we just go backwards. So I do a 5 week. I let for the first 5 weeks they stay where they're meant to stay.
Yes.
And at around the 5 week mark, halfway through the term, I simply said, right, this is the week. You can choose where you want to sit. But if you decide not to work, or that's not conducive for you to work, then you reset.
Yes, I think that's right. You build trust each way, don't you? And you communicate that. So let's build on that then. So from individual student not sitting in their seat to a whole class trying not to sit in their seat or not sitting in their seat.
Reset, bro. I just do reset. If the kids aren't listening, we start again. And even if it means restarting from outside, everybody
take them outside, whole class line up,
and then explain to them again exactly what we're going to be doing, and they all quickly learn. Sometimes they can even tell in the tone of your voice. So if you reset them whole again, everybody out, line up, boys. I still line them up, boys and girls. Line up. I say, when we come in, this is your allocated seat. I'll give you a table number, so I'll just say this is table 1, 2, 3, whatever it is.
Yep.
And I'll just push them through, and I'll deliberately separate the ones who I know want to be next to each other. So I don't care whereabouts, as long as they're not on the same table. And once they get allocated, and once they settle down in that first session, usually it's quite fine. And it's very rarely that they'll try and gravitate back to each other. It's not until that 5th week, I say, right, you've earned it, great, have a go. If it's not working, we redo it again.
Nice.
Simple as that.
I like it. What do you got?
Yeah, okay. Well, let's go on to student talking, bro. What about that?
Can't be doing that. While teachers talking?
Whilst teachers are talking.
Cannot be doing that. Because if your student's talking over the time, you're repeating yourself 50 times, and then you can't do that, multiply it out for the day. So it's stop and wait for them, and then give them the eye or give them the look, and then start, and then they go again, and then if I don't, again, do any behaviour management, as teachers know, don't rise to the occasion, but be consistent.
Yep.
So I must go a step back and be even tried in my head, consciously go overboard, but being calm. And then just let the student know. And then obviously if it keeps coming, you got to pull them up and go, look, I need to get the instructions out. You're being disrespectful. And depending on the type of classroom you've got or environment you're in, it might go back and forth. But if you've got difficult classes, put the time in the first 3 or 4 weeks, whatever it is, to set those tones, because it will pay off in the long run.
Yep. I agree with that one. I'm just going to quickly jump on that. In regards to the talking, sometimes you even have to explain to the kids that it's rude if you're talking and I'm talking. Because to some kids, they're so used to just talking all the time, and they don't realise that others are waiting to give instruction.
I find in teaching that you have to explicitly teach behaviour, like how to act these days. It fascinates me. Graffitiing on the desk.
Yeah, see, that's a hard one. No one's actually physically catch them doing it. It's one of those ones where you sort of get them to clean it. I was going to get the cleaning equipment, give them the detention for it, clean it during detention, whatever else. But it's teaching them that it's not just there. It's this is for the whole class. This is for the other classes as well.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to give them a sense of belonging to something as why we keep that room tidy. It's not just the graffiti. It's the way that we handle the desk, the materials inside the room.
Yep.
Making sure everything.
And that sense of community is big.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Ooh. I'm going to be having a look at work refusal. The kid that always wants to sort of like buck the trend or go against.
Work refusal.
Not completing.
Okay, so we're talking disruptive and not disruptive. Disruptive. Yeah, that can be a tricky one. I think it's because at times the amount of energy to get that one student engaged can be weird. I mean, I think you got to look at the work they're doing at the time. If the start there, the work might be too difficult. So whatever the differentiation, whatever you want to call it, is get work acceptable. That might require you doing some extra work, as in setting up plans and whatnot. But again, I think it's going to be worthwhile. I think having done the curriculum at a level they're capable of, and then talking about the behaviours, and then showing the acceptable behaviours, and then it might be like doing your detention stuffs, the movals around the class, but all that consistency.
Sometimes that's a good learning opportunity for the whole class.
Yep.
And you can use it or it depends whether you can use it as a whole class learning activity or an individual one with just that student so that person learns. But at the end of the day, when you get down to the nuts and bolts of things, if the work is at their level and they're still refusing, it's sometimes what I do is I give an option and I'll just say, right, here's an option, or this is option A, option B.
Yeah, I should have said the option is powerful. Option is definitely powerful.
Yeah.
Let's jump to the high level now. So, power struggles and how to deal with the high-end defiant students. So a student comes in and they got a reputation for being the the tough kid, and they're starting to kick off. How would you approach it? Or how do you approach it?
Like I still do. I just treat everyone with respect when they come into the room. Talk to them. I call a lot of the boys gentlemen and a lot of the ladies, or the girls ladies. Take a seat, please, ladies and gents. Simple like that. Sit down, please. So when you talk like that, it's pretty hard to be rude to someone that's actually quite kind. That's just that's how I've worked it. And it's not until not only they actually kick back, then you know there's something not right with them at that time. They're not either ready to learn, something may have just happened.
Yes.
So just in that introduction, you can actually get a bit of feedback straight away on how they receive it. If they receive it in a positive way, oh, yep, okay, sorry, sir, yep. But if they receive it in a negative way, then it's like, we'll have words later. Let me get this out and we'll catch up about what needs to happen. So that defiant kid, sometimes it's just a bit of attention seeking, sometimes it's in the negative way, but sometimes it's also a call for help, that they're actually going through something but they don't know how to verbalise it, so they're just going to refuse.
No, exactly, man. I think what you can't do is then try to go over them as well, and then try to raise yourself, because then it just goes nowhere, which I imagine you're going to feel like, you do feel like, because a lot of emotions in teaching. But yeah, it's just going to be that patience and calm approach. I think we've got time for two more. So we're one each.
Yeah, brother. How about this one, bro? Student consistently late, or even truant throughout part of the period.
It's frustrating because it's frustrating because it's not just them being late. Then you got to stop and give instructions, and then stop the rest of the class. Yeah. So it is. I mean, I think in that case, obviously the parent contact. Most situations, if I've been in that situation, parents have been more than willing to have their daughter or son held back or recess or lunch. But where it gets tricky is if you've got a difficult class up and running, and then usually it's the kids that are late can be quite tricky themselves, and it does mess up that dynamic. But it's once they're through for me, that late student comes into class and they're going to be in that class. I'll deal with them in class. Or the other being late, I'll deal with that afterwards. So it's just being in the moment then and going, okay, but be on them and go, they're going to try play up. No, get ready here, and stay on them for a couple of minutes. So that, no, it's not you coming into class and all attention on you.
Correct.
Now it's here doing this. And then again, staying professional. I don't make a big scene of it, but then it's pulling them up one-on-one after and going, look, I think communication is a big thing. If you can communicate why you're angry and just go because you're taking away from everyone else's learning and it's not fair for them, usually students come around. Where it can go pear-shaped, if that conversation goes, you keep pointing the finger at the student, they're going to be like, well, the bridge up and the walls are going to come up.
One of those things in regards to those sorts of kids as well is that sometimes it's a combination of different skills that you apply at the same time. Like it's almost like a planned ignore, but acknowledging the fact that they are late. And like I've got a kid who came in late today, And he knew that he was late, and he knew that and you could tell in his body language, and he said, sorry for being late too. And 9 times out of 10, I would have asked this kid, why are you late? Just so they can justify. And if it's a terrible answer, then I'll follow it up further. But you can just tell that the kid was actually sorry for being late.
Yes.
And I sort of planned to ignore. I said, you're not a problem, come on and grab your stuff, get ready, here we go. And it just went, the transition was smooth.
Yeah.
So it depends on whether the kid's coming in loud. If the kid comes in at a heightened level.
Or they do it just for avoidance.
I always ask them, I'll just point to the door, try again. And then they go, oh, and then they'll go, and then if they muck up again, try again. And usually the other kids will tell them as well on their way out or as they come in. And when they come in, they go, oh, yeah. And then they'll go through the proper procedures. So sometimes it's just having to go through that again. The good thing with that, it teaches the others just in case if they ever forget that this is what we need to do.
I like it. I like it. Last one, here we go. Students verbally abusing one another, so with intent, so they're trying to cause damage with their words.
Defuse as quick as you can, intervene as quick as you can, shut the whole thing down, because it's also heightened with allies around them, with friends who sort of, and because a lot of the time they're playing up towards, so look at me everybody, my mates are here, the all mates are there, no one wants to back down. So by just jumping in, diffusing as quick as you can, that's just how the last one I done was 2 kids were saying that it was just banter at first, it got out of hand, and it quickly went from 0 to 100. So I just had to quickly, go, student services, tell them I sent you up there right now. You sit down. And the boy looked at me and just said, sorry sir. I said, that's okay, just take yourself up there, we'll sort the rest of it out later. So that's just one.
Yeah. Anytime those volatile situations, you just gotta get it diffused straight away. I like it, man. So again, guys, this is just a channel to help teachers out. Just some things that we've crossed our paths with in our time. A few things that have worked. Looking forward to building it up. So again, thank you for listening. We'll catch you next.